From the Fathead Studio in Speedway, Indiana, this is The Skinny.
Maybe I need to start in the trash truck business.
Don't rule it out.
So my body holds about 11 units of blood, the average human body, guy my size, and I had 22 units put in because I had 2 full oil changes.
He's airborne, and then I'm above him.
Inverted.
All at the same time. Yeah, you're just like, wow, that's a wild picture.
Boom, and then it goes boom, and it comes back out.
I hang up on the guy. I go, who's this? This is Deion Sanders. I go, yeah, nice try. See you later.
Bounce and then this insane roll. That thing sent it.
No. It's okay, we come back. They just do it.
Man, am I still pretty? And he's like, you ain't pretty, but you're going to be all right.
If I was a few years older, you might be calling me Grandpappy. I think, all right.
Hi, I'm Tony Stewart.
I'm Scott Dixon.
I'm Mario Andretti.
I'm Christy Lee.
I'm Travis Pastrana.
Hey, I'm Antron Brown.
Hi, I'm Cruz Pedregon, and this is The Skinny.
Welcome, everybody, to The Skinny. We've got a great show in store for you today. A longtime friend and sponsoree, if you will, but more of a friend than anything. 2-time world champion in the Nitro Funny Car, and a heck of a guy on top of it. Welcome, Cruz Pedregon.
Good to be here, Rico. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So how's things going? Tell us about it.
Things are going good. A little slower than we'd like them to start off the 24 season, but we're a notorious slow starter for our season. Seems like we come on at the late in the game, and so yeah, we're just getting our sea legs, as they say. The car is fast. We have speed. We just need consistency. So most race cars, you want speed above all else, and then consistency will follow. So so the Snap-on car, we're feeling good about everything going into the season.
So I was looking at something before we got started. The memorabilia on the back wall, there's got to be one thing that's your favorite back there in the right corner. The Lincoln Kennedy, the Raider jersey.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, gotta love Lincoln. Was a big dude. Clogged up the middle there for a lot of years for the Raiders.
Yeah, he's definitely still a big dude. But yeah, so I was at Pomona. I love drag racing. I love the sport. I love the participants. I have so many good friends that are in the series and things like that. But man, Pomona, can we get better?
You talking about overall the cars?
The track.
Yeah, I'm a proponent of you have to race the racetrack, and the funny dynamic there is you have crew chiefs that get paid to go fast and to win rounds. In drag racing, there's no second chance. It's a one-shot deal, and it's instant. You either make the right calls and you put the car on the edge, or you put the car over the edge. So they play the odds, but it just seems like early on, everybody's trying to win the race and get the points lead. And I think they put a lot of pressure on themselves. And unfortunately, these racetracks become the fall guy. Now, Pomona, let me say this, Pomona is in Southern California, and there's always been movement, right, with the earth. Yeah. So you're going to have some personality, I would say, in the track, some bumps, and those bumps disrupt the cars. But I say you gotta be prepared for that. Slow your car down, especially against us. Slow your car down, crew chiefs. Slow them down, But so yeah, it's the tracks all have personalities. They're not all going to be perfect, and so yeah, you're gonna have some racetracks that are not going to have all the full runs.
But you guys were killing it at Vegas. You guys were absolutely hauling them out.
See, now there, Rico, it's the 4th race. So I think as time goes on, people get their, as I was just calling it, their sea legs, and kind of get in the groove and get in the flow of things. And crew chiefs, like a lot of other sports, look at Brad Sweet. It took him a while to start winning, in the high limit series. First few races, you thought, hey, what's going on here? And then he's won a couple. So, all these teams need to get kind of the nerves worked out, the bugs, and then they'll start going in the flow. So Vegas was the 4th race on the season. So that, you're going to see cars getting better.
Yeah. Speaking of Sweet, of course, both you and I are huge dirt fans,
yep.
Open wheel fans. What do you think of high limits?
I don't like that there's two big series, or obviously with the All-Stars.
IndyCar, IRL.
Yeah,
or IndyCar, whatever.
Yeah, so I'll always lean on, there needs to be one series, because I would like to see the stars of the high limit go off against the outlaws, the gravels of the world, the Kofoids. And so I understand why they did it for the most part, but I don't particularly care for the series split.
Yeah, and it's interesting because our guy Brady Bacon goes down to Hobstadt, wins 2 years in a row now, which is absolutely amazing and no easy feat. Did you get to watch?
I did. I watched it, and was watching Gravel pace him there, and I thought, okay, it's just a matter of time, and it never happened. In fact, if anything, it seemed like Brady Bacon's car, the 21 car, got better as the race went on, and I'm thinking, hey, it's not supposed to work that way. But hey, good for Brady. That obviously that's good equipment, veteran driver, even more so with an open wheel that he is. I thought that he really, and like you said, he won it 2 years in a row. That's quite a feather in his cap to knock off the big dog. But there again, I always think when Gravel wins these races, and believe me, he's top caliber driver, top caliber team, but I still think that, hey, how would he go fare against Brad Sweet in the other series? So it'll always be that little uncertainty of who's the baddest of the baddest. When I say he was rusty, I saw the belly pan of my brand new Spike Midget car down the straightaway and he landed on all four and kept going.
The Skinny is brought to you by Fatheads Eyewear. Fatheads Eyewear, hardcore since '04. And American Coach. Innovation is our life force.
Welcome back to the Skinny. We've got a great show here going today, and a good friend, as we said, Cruz Pedregon, 2-time world champ, Nitro funny car. And we were talking open wheel, we were talking dirt, and I know we talked about it the last time, but are we ever going to get a late model again?
You talking about me? I've had offers to drive some really good cars, and I have lots of friends in the industry still. And Kevin Rumley was out at I think it was Charlotte last year. Got to meet him. What a great guy and smart guy. So it's just a function of time, Rico. I'm doing a lot of iRacing now, and I feel like if I jumped in one of those cars, I could be a lot faster, smoother, better sooner than my first run, which is like 10 years ago, and I ran the Prelude and did all that stuff. But I'm really getting my kicks on iRacing. It's so cool and so realistic. I've got just got a WR1 sim from the guys Chad down there with his sim company through Chris Ferguson and some of his buddies. And got to give a shout out to Majula Say Speed Shops for giving me the setups. These guys, they're two of the best dirt drivers in the country, or the best dirt drivers in the country, Blake Majulis and Evan C. And so I get their setups, how they set their car. There's only one problem: you still have to drive them, right? You still have to steer them, and you work the throttle and all that.
So you got a good crew chief.
Got a good crew chief.
Driver,
yeah. And they sell their setups to other competitors. So it's really cool that they offer up what they really run on the track. And a lot of people, not a lot of people, but some say, oh, well, they don't sell you exactly. Oh, baloney, they don't. But again, you still have. It's just like real cars. You still have to physically drive the car, and
it's not going to drive itself.
It's not going to drive itself. It's not going to be that good. So yeah, so I do a lot of that. But back to your question, I would like to, but it's like the reason why I don't run the Chili Bowl with my own midgets. I have two Spike cars, really nice cars with Mopar power and all the good stuff. But for me to get in there and drive it myself, I would have to spend a lot of time driving and during the season, and for me to break away and do that, man, it'd be tough. So I usually get some drivers that are, that are ready to go, and put them in there and drink some beer on the weekend, on the Chili Bowl week, and have fun. So, but sometime if Tony Stewart brings back the Prelude, which I've been trying to talk about it, we've been on him about that, and he's thinking about it. But there's obviously a lot of connections and a lot of things that have to happen for that to come back. But if it was an event like that, a special event, man, I would probably just say, I'm going to make time. I'm going to go do it. So
how many years did that go on?
at least 5 or 6 that I remember. I think I missed the first 1 or 2, and then I was in the, maybe more like 7 years. I know I did like 5 years.
Did Tony run any? Your brother?
No, he didn't. No, it was, the 2 drag racers that were invited, with myself and Ron Capps.
And Capps,
I know
yeah.
Gary wanted to run, and for some reason, I don't know what the backstory was, but Don Schumacher would not. It was funny because Gary would be all pissed off about it. He's like, wait a minute, how does he allow Ron Capps and not myself to get in there? And I don't know what the reason behind that, but Gary would have been good at doing that. And so so they would invite, and that was great about it is you had mostly NASCAR drivers, but you'd have guys like myself and Ron, and then you'd have towards the end there they had Schatz and Kinzer, and they kind of had some different drivers, a couple late model guys, but it was a lot of fun. And still my favorite track on iRacing is Realistic as They Make It, man. That I just love that track. And you get to take a breath down the straightaway. It's not like a short track where you're just working the whole time. And those longer, bigger tracks, you could just take a couple breaths down the straightaway. But
that's what Tony used to say all the time. We'd run some bull rings every now and again, and he, in his sprint car, and he would talk. He's like, you're holding your breath all the time.
Yeah.
And your head's pegged to the seat, and that's what you're doing.
Yeah. You think about it, you're going like the work is in the corners. That's where the physical, where you have to, enter the corner the certain way and work the throttle, brake, and to your point, you're holding your breath. So I always found that the bigger the track, they were hairier, believe me, and they were white knuckler, but you could breathe down the street, take a couple deep breaths. Okay, here's the corner, and here we go again. But yeah, so like I said, I follow this sport. I follow the Lucas Oil late model series, the Outlaws with the super late models, and of course the wing sprint car, the 410s, the Outlaws. And and the high limit midgets, pretty much the dirt stuff. And it's funny because when I bought my my simulator, they asked me about the shifter and all that. I said, man, I don't, as much as I love oval tracks, I follow IndyCar a little bit, NASCAR, of course, but I find the most pleasure and challenge for me is to drive on dirt. There's something about sliding a car and working the throttle that really appeals to me.
Talking about Capps, Capps ran great at Eldora for the SRX.
SRX, yeah.
And then and he was up there. He was hustling it, and there towards the end, it kind of fell off. But I mean, that again, that's, you throw somebody into one of those cars. I mean, I'd like to see Doug Coletta do it.
Yeah, so they brought the iRacing cars onto iRacing. I'm sorry, did I say iRacing cars? The SRX cars onto iRacing. I haven't raced them yet, but I've heard some chatter, and they look difficult to drive in that the suspensions on them are not this high sophistication of let's say a late model they're built for dirt. So they looked really loose and like they could spin out really quick. So, but I imagine Ron Capps probably used some of his Prelude experience, on dirt. He did a good job on dirt, but I can imagine, I thought he would do well. But to your point, Doug Coletta, who's probably has a lot more experience than all of us combined, just because all the years he spent with USAC, and he probably done pretty good, I would imagine. But he's been out of it for a while. It's weird. I remember I'm going to date myself. I brought back Billy Boat, Chad Boat's dad, who used to race Indy cars, right? Sure. Everybody knows Billy Boat. I thought, I'm going to bring a guy in to run this is probably 2010 or 11, right before I retired from owning the first time. And I thought, oh man, Chad Boat or Billy Boat, he's going to jump in this thing and he's going to be like what he was back in the 90s when he was winning everything. And man, he was rusty. He was rusty. And when I say he was rusty, I saw the belly pan of my brand new Spike midget car down the straightaway and he landed on all four and kept going. But the point I'm trying to make is seat time, and that's why I don't really do it is like I would like to, is man, in those kind of cars, because you're used to what you're used to. Doug is drag racer, I'm drag racer. Man, we're in those things every week. We're doing it. We just have a feel. And so, yeah, the dirt, but it'd still be fun to see that, see those drivers do that. And that's what's, Tony, I know, is kicking around, Stewart kicking around the idea of doing the IROC or some type of series where you have all the drivers in different disciplines. That still appeals. I remember we all used to remember the IROC series.
Oh yeah,
with the Trans Ams. I used to watch those. Those are so cool.
Yeah.
And so someday, hopefully, they bring back something like that on dirt, of course. On dirt, that's a great equalizer.
Right. More from Cruz Pedregon when we come back.
Told you them drag racers couldn't drive, and they're out there spinning out in front. Actually, Ron and I never spun out. We never took anybody out. There's the NASCAR guys.
Welcome back to the Skinny. We're just getting started here with some great information and having a good time talking racing. Whether it's what Cruz does or what he doesn't do, we're catching up as usual. So we left off with IROC, and so Evernham, and I think the guy who started, Michael, and I'm sorry, we forgot Michael Young again.
No, that's all right. I'm just back over here doing my thing. I'm enjoying the show, so I'm just listening.
So Michael, are they? Am I correct by saying that they are going to run a race this year?
I don't know if they're running a race this year, but hearing rumblings of an IROC, something of the IROC's coming back.
So with IROC coming back, I think you're right. I mean, would they ever take them on dirt? And the race that I remember hearing them say was a shorter track race. Like, it wasn't going to be on Daytona or any of that. But I wonder what car they're going to use,
Yeah, and that's the tough part. And that's where I was as a dirt enthusiast and as a dirt fan, and of course I've raced a little bit of everything on dirt. The hard part is to take a car that really isn't made for dirt to put on dirt just by putting tires on it, because first of all, you're not going to get the I don't know, just something about the look of a dirt late model, like gripping the earth and all reared up and just hauling the mail going across the track sideways, versus a car that's just kind of stable and steady and just kind of not going as fast, and the lap times are not as fast. So it's hard for me as a fan to get into a car like that. I would prefer that they have a series where if it's going to be on dirt, you use a dirt car. In other words, just like the Prelude, where you had actual dirt cars, and then if you go on pavement, you use a pavement car. And I know that's hard to do, and probably logistically with all the different things, but there's a lot of technology that goes into a pavement car, just like there is on dirt, to grip the earth. Hey, let's face it, dirt doesn't grip like pavement. And so the cars to me appeal because they're dirt cars, not a car that's meant for pavement. So, I don't know the answers to all that, but it would be fun to see. And I think really the fans relate to their favorite drivers, and that's what was what Mike was just saying, the disciplines, to see your different drivers running the different together as a group. But it's hard to figure out, which is probably why they haven't done it well. The Prelude to me was really cool, I thought. I mean, because they were real dirt cars, and they were competitive, and they weren't easy to drive. I remember before you actually saw the finished product for me at the track, I would actually run. I had my own rocket chassis. I would run quite, 3 or 4, 5 races sometimes in the year leading up to that race. So I'd put in the right amount of time, because I didn't want to be the drag race guy that, because you'd get those naysayers. I told you them drag racers couldn't drive, and they're out there spinning out in front. Actually, Ron and I never spun out. We never took anybody out. There's the NASCAR guys that were doing. I remember my buddy Bobby LaPaz was a teammate of mine, of Joe Gibbs back in the day. I remember he spun out and took a couple of good drivers out. So, but the cars were legit, man. They were cars that were racing. There were teams that were loaning us the cars, and so it was cool. And I got fairly decent at it there. Towards the end there, I was ripping around there pretty good.
A quick update for you, Rico. July 19th and 20th will be the date for the IROC race at Lime Rock this year.
Lime Rock.
Yeah, I missed the announcement, but yeah, July 19th and 20th at Lime Rock.
Okay, so that begs the question, what is the car?
That I can't tell you. I haven't gotten that far through the article. I missed it. I was traveling all weekend, so I'll catch up. But yes, it's going to be interesting.
Speaking of traveling all weekend, how was the California Long Beach?
Unfortunately, I didn't go to Long Beach. I did an event with Red Bull this past weekend with some of the Red Bull drivers, Scott Speed, a guy named Aaron Colton, who is one of the greatest street freestylers in the world, and one of the old F1 greats, David Coulthard, was with us this weekend, and we tore up and down Pennsylvania Avenue in D.C., which was quite something.
Really?
Yeah, it was a good time.
What was that? What was that in regards to promo or
It's
something?
a big Red Bull show run. They do about 3 of them a year here in the States, and that was round number 1 for the year. And yeah, Pennsylvania Avenue in the shadow of the Capitol building. So that was quite something.
It's our equivalent to a road course. What is to NASCAR a road course? You know, you've got your regular stuff, but then they throw in a little mix of something different.
Welcome back to the Skinny. Got Cruz Pedregon in the house here, kind of catching up on a lot of different racing today. So
Covered it all.
right, covering all facets of it. So this episode will air while we are at Charlotte.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's your thoughts on Charlotte going in there?
Well, it's the second of 4 wide for us, the second in a row. And so I like the 4 wide. You know, the 4 wide offers a little different perspective for the fans. I mean, the drivers too. The drivers, you still see guys, especially in the other classes, they forget what lane they're in, and one guy will take off way early or way late. But so most of the funny car and dragster guys, pretty much, at least in the top classes, NHRA have it figured out. And so you see some good racing. I mean, at Vegas, you saw the final and funny car. I think the separation was 200s top to bottom. You saw one car run 89 and the other cars ran 90, and then one car ran 91. The car that ran 91 won the race. Was Tasca. So Top Fuel was the same way. You had Tony Stewart in the he had a great car. He had a great weekend. Unfortunately, he came in 4th there, but photo finish there at the end there. And that's really what it's about. It's different. I tell race fans, it's our equivalent to a road course. What is to NASCAR a road course? You know, you've got your regular stuff, but then they throw in a little mix of something different. So we'll see. I mean, we're, we'd like to get on track and get going, and we're really close getting the car consistent. You know, we just beat of all the losses, the one in Vegas hurt the most, just because I thought we had a good car, that we had a car that can compete that day, could compete that day. And we went out there a little bit too greedy, didn't pull it back enough. And it just spun the tires. And that was the end of our loss in the very first quad. But yeah, so it'll be the last of the year. I tried to ask I asked NHRA if they should put the 4 wide separate ends of the seasons. In other words, keep the one in Vegas and have the 4th or the second one in the fall during the countdown.
Yeah.
And it's not going to change anything points wise. Whoever wins is going to win anyway. I'm sure you get a lot of pushback from people that don't really care for it. Oh, why in the countdown? Well, I say, why not in the countdown, right? But we'll see. But yeah, I think it's good. It's Bruton Smith. It was his brainchild. He was a NASCAR guy, built great tracks, and he wanted to see 4 cars run on the track. So here it is. And I think it's growing in popularity. I think fans and drivers as well didn't care for it in the beginning, but I feel like it's acquired taste and it's coming around.
How many years has it been?
Oh, I think it's been at least 5 or 6, maybe. I think
that's
probably.
What I think. Yeah. Charlotte was first, right?
Charlotte was first. Then they made the Vegas track mimic Charlotte, which is the 4 lanes. And and if you really think about it, a lot of these tracks can accommodate 4 lanes, but in typical Bruton Smith fashion, they already had a great drag strip at Vegas. But what they did is they didn't just put a 2 next to it. They tore out the whole thing and did it the right way, built 2 identical lanes. So there's really and what's great, and I think NHRA does a good job, there's no lane choice per se. Like we don't go up there thinking, oh man, we're in the 4th lane. Man, we really wish we were in the number 1 lane. The lanes are prepped so equally that it's good side-by-side racing. So yeah, like I said, I like it, and it's something different.
What do you think of the new place in KC?
Don't know much about it. I've seen pictures, but I think because it's new, it'll be nice, fresh for the fans, and no data gathering for the team. So whoever goes out there, wins the first one is not going to have the notes to go back to. Some of these tracks, like we were talking about Brady Bacon earlier, whatever notes he has for the hop stop, he's got to figure it out. You don't want to lose those notes. And I think a lot of it's true for drag racing. You have these racetracks, the air, the atmosphere, the conditions fall kind of into certain teams' laps. But this new track in KC, I think it'll be a fresh sheet of paper. It's too bad that Topeka closed. Topeka was a great track. It's unfortunate that, whatever happened there, it's going away. But like I said, we welcome a new facility, hopefully some new fans closer to KC, Kansas City. And yeah, look forward to it. So, man, we're going to freaking suck today. And we go on and win the race. It has happened.
The Skinny is brought to you by American Coach. American Coach, innovation is our life force. And Fatheads Eyewear. Fatheads Eyewear, hardcore since '04.
Welcome back to the Skinny. We are doing a lot of bench racing here, which I love, and maybe one of my most favorite things to do about everything. We can talk about how we would do it better. Maybe we could, maybe we couldn't. But you were talking about we were talking about the new track. Do you see any other new tracks coming on?
There's some on the radar. I keep in touch with NHRA, kind of the top brass guys, and Boise, Idaho has been talked about. I think they need to bulldoze some property there to make it bigger. NHRA needs such a big footprint to hold an event. With all the rigs and all the circus coming to town, so to speak. So that really is what plagues there's some great venues out there that have a great track, but you have to have the property has to have enough room to accommodate all the haulers, all the sportsman cars, everything that NHRA and National Event brings to the table. The other one's been on the radar for a while is down in Tulsa.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah, there's one down in Tulsa, and we actually tested. We made a couple test runs there a few years ago. There was the weather was nice, so we went down there, and the track is great. But there again, it's just a matter of having enough
parking, right?
Parking, to accommodate all the teams.
Yeah, that's kind of what I had heard, and I think that's a great market. I think that's a drag racing market.
It is, yeah. Tulsa,
yeah.
Well, Tulsa, Kansas City. Topeka. We were talking about, or I was talking about Topeka earlier.
Right.
It was. It's a little bit out there, and even though there was a lot going on out there, Topeka was out away from Kansas City, where the big population is. So I think that's a challenge to get the fans out. You need to have a place that's kind of conducive to travel. But there are some great markets out there that are untapped. Boise, we're in Seattle now, but like you said, Tulsa. I think NHRA are not going to tell me what they're looking at, but I'm sure they're looking at some Northeast stuff, potential facilities. And as we lose tracks, let's face it. I was thinking the other day, man, we've lost Englishtown, New Jersey, an older track, Atlanta, which is in Commerce, a little Northeast. We lost Houston, which is a big loss. And the problem with these, not problem, but like Snap-on has a lot of dealers and franchisees. And so when we lose these tracks, it's a little hard on the inner workings of sponsorship. So it's important that NHRA continues to look at other venues and replace the ones we've lost with new ones. And, and like, hey, who wouldn't want to go to Tulsa? That's where we have, the event we both love, the Chili Bowl.
That's right. And they pack the house on that.
There's race fans everywhere. So I think NHRA is going to continue to look at other, new venues and other places to race.
Cruz, I had a question for you, and it's you've been at this game a long time, and somebody that's had your success, I wondered, has there ever been a car or a weekend where you actually won and you thought we had no business winning this weekend, and vice versa, where you had what you thought was one of the best cars you have ever had and maybe didn't even make it out of the second round?
That's a very good question. And Mike, it happens all the time. In fact, I remember I was the last couple of ones I was thinking, man, I woke up this morning not feeling worth a damn. Man, we're going to friggin' suck today. And we go on and win the race. It has happened. And you reflect in the winner's circle when it's so euphoric and happy. And man, it's so cool. You're in the winner's circle, your trophy and all of your teams there sharing the moment. And you think, man, how the heck did we get through this day? And then there's time, to your point earlier, just now, is in fact, I felt that way a little bit in the 4 wide here a couple of weeks ago in Vegas, where I thought, we have a potential to go all the way, and we have a shot to win. And you don't win, you lose first round. So, man, that's a great part about racing. It's just you just never know, and that's why it's good to not get too up for the ups and too down, like they say, 2 downs for the down. Just kind of be in the middle mentally, because you never know. You're going to have a car, or you're going to get the breaks that day. And racing is, you got to get breaks along the way. There's rare times that a nitro car, a dragster or a funny car, can just mow them down and just out there, because you're on the edge with these cars, and the crew chief's gonna have maybe one round where he's gonna get away with something, right? And so like spinning the tires, and the other guys does the same thing or whatever. So, but yeah, it happens, and you just gotta. Yeah, wins are great though, man. It's nothing like winning a race. Hopefully we can do that again soon. It's been a while.
We still need our Wallies from you. The what was it, black chrome?
Yeah, that was what was that? That was was it the 700th or
something?
I think it was the 700th NHRA event.
Yeah,
it was some crazy
because we got a coin too.
Yeah,
we got one of the chips.
Yeah. They're on their way, Rico. They're on their way, man.
Okay, all right, I like that.
But no, it's but yeah, you know, in NHRA, they've been around for so long. I didn't even know that was up for grabs. I'm glad I didn't know that for the final. I had to put more pressure on me. But when it was after the race, they said, "Oh, it's the 700." I'm like, "Hey, all right,
dude, it was so cool.
Give me another beer then." You can't just haul off and ratchet those things in there using impact. You gotta get the torque specs.
Want to get the skinny on other guests and different types of motorsports? Check out our YouTube page and get the skinny.
Welcome back to the skinny. We're having a great time here with Cruz Pedregon, my good friend for a long time. And so I was thinking about your sponsorship with Snap-on Tools. How long has that been?
Well, if you count my years with Larry Miner back in the 90s with the McDonald's team, it's been about 25 years in total, or you know, with counting, it's been probably more like 28. There was some years there that we didn't have Snap-on. We were building my own team, and yeah, to join back up with a great company like that, obviously the best tool, the biggest tool company in the world, and you know, so for me to reconnect and to represent a brand like that is really has made my career special. And you know, and we're continuing on. You know, we've got a lot of great years left, and we just signed a multi-year deal with Snap-on. So, but I do a lot behind the scenes. You know, I don't just, you know, the days of just putting a decal on the car and getting a check from the company really, those days are over. It's about you know, creating value, and Snap-on does a great job at inviting their franchisees out to the track along with all their dealers. I'm sorry, their franchisees and dealers, same thing, but they invite their customers to come out, and we have a hospitality that's literally right next to the car, and they get to come out and watch the cars being worked on, overhauled, using Snap-on tools, which makes a tool company really an easier sell for the auto enthusiast.
But the other cool part of that is these guys are gearheads.
You know, there's a saying within Snap-on, you're right, that you may not like racing, but your customers do.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and so, yeah, it's a great connection to have tools. It's such a great partnership, I think. You know, if you look at all the top names are out there, you know, you've got, you know, with Antron and Coletta, and, you know, you've got all the big tool brands out there, Force. And so it's a great thing that they're all competing against each other. And, you know, we have, you know, rivalries, and we race against the Cornwall brand, which is one of obviously now Austin Proc. So it's fun, you know. Obviously we want to beat those guys, but the other thing that I do, I want to point out, is that I do these ride-alongs on Thursdays. In other words, I get to the track a day early, and I literally go to a franchisee that's been predetermined, that knows I'm coming, that has a route that, you know, he may switch off a little bit and go to maybe some more race fan people. But so I'll take a stack of photo cards, and I'll literally ride in the truck, and you know, we'll go to a customer, go to a shop, and I'll go walk in there with the guy and just start talking to the customers about the race or what they do. And man, I visited some really cool places. I've gone to Bell Helicopters. I've gone to some really cool, you know, mom and pop shops. So it's everything from dealerships to you know, to your local lube and, you know, lube companies to all mechanic related. You know, and one thing I've learned about Snap-on too is they've not a lot, but they'll go to bowling alleys. They'll do actually. There's surgical tools that Snap-on makes. Like, let's say a guy has a little, maybe a metal put into his arm or leg or something. They'll actually have to. There's a torque, little torque wrenches that they use. Not a lot, but Snap-on makes some of those.
Like a medical device.
Yeah,
almost.
you got to torque a guy's. Guy has a a brace in his arm that's metal. You can't just haul off and ratchet those things in there using impact. You got to get the torque specs. Can you imagine a guy, hey man, you remember torque that guy's arm or torque that guy's leg or whatever?
Did
So
you torque Bill's arm today?
yeah. So, so Snap-on's everywhere, so for me to get out there and touch and feel the customer and get out and hang out with the dealers it means a lot to Snap-on. It's something I enjoy doing.
They're an unbelievable company. So as with your help, of course, we started selling Fatheads eyewear through there, our sunglass product.
Yep.
And, a few of the franchisees have it right now. Of course, we would love to have more. Come and get it.
Yeah.
We're ready. But they have been really, really great to work with.
Yeah.
And from a vendor standpoint.
Right.
And they are about their franchisees. That's their deal.
It is.
And it's got to be exactly right every time for their franchisees, which I absolutely respect. I think it's amazing. And all of the management, and of course you have an event coming up here the 1st of May again. What is that called? The IRP that you guys are doing, the race?
We call that it's called the Super Speedway event. And so what they're going to do is I think it's the third annual, where they'll have a raffle to certain throughout the country that the dealers can buy into, the franchisees can buy into, and they randomly they put out these tickets, and when the customer wins all these prizes, the grand prize is usually go to the Indy 500, come hang out with us at the drag races, and they get to actually physically drive some cars. They had a school here last year at Frank Hawley's school at the IRP, where they had, I don't know, probably 40 or 50 customers and the franchisees, and they invite their wives or significant others along with the whoever wins these. They could wins the tickets. They can invite their wives or girlfriends or whatever. So
you remember the one guy that had never left his community? He was a Snap-on dealer.
Yeah.
And he had never left his community.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And you jump on a plane and
jumps on a plane.
Yeah.
He comes out here.
Yeah.
And I was absolutely floored. I just thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
So,
well, they're doing that again. I think it's, like I say, that's the 3rd annual, and it's very well received internally, and the customers love it. It gives them, it's some way to give back, and customer service with Snap-on is amazing. And so the things that they do, some of the gift items and things that the props they provide the customers is amazing to me. But hey, we're glad to be a small part of it. Very proud to represent such a great company. And, they do a lot. They do a lot of, we do the breast cancer awareness card. And they don't just put a little pink on the car. They do a special wrap. We do uniforms,
which is awesome.
And they the Pink Fund is a charity that they give to. They provide dollars for people in need in that cause. So, it's just a lot of things that with the military, they do things. So, like I say, we're just glad to be a part of it. Many years, we've been a part of that. So just look forward to getting out there and winning on that racetrack and keeping them happy. So yeah, a little match or torch and bend my glass out so they wouldn't poke my temples. And it's like, come on, man, there's got to be.
The Skinny is brought to you by Fatheads Eyewear. Fatheads Eyewear, hardcore since '04. And American Coach. Innovation is our life force.
Welcome back to the Skinny with our final segment here with our good friend Cruz Pedregon. We've been talking about Snap-on tools. We've been talking about a lot of different things, but one of the other things, so Snap-on's your major sponsor. Who's some of the little guys? The shifter, what's the shifter guy?
Yeah, well, we have Speed Dogs that provides has a shift knob licensing with Mopar and a lot of the manufacturers. A great guy. He's out of Pennsylvania, been in business a long time. Then we have Tough Dog, which is an alarm company, cameras out of McAllen, Texas. Met him at a trade show, Hispanic guy, great friend, but he has some great products and alarms, or actually these cameras, closed circuit cameras, TV cameras, and he has an alarm business
For like
too.
your business
For like your,
or
yeah,
house?
like our, for example, our shop has 29 of his cameras throughout the facility, in and out, and it provides a little extra security. And I could click on my app, and so it's Speed Dog and Tough Dog are the two dog companies.
Yeah.
Then we have Petrov Towing, who actually supports a lot of the some of the top, not a lot, but a few of the top World of Outlaw dirt late model guys. I know Shannon Babb is one of his supporters, I think.
So who are those guys? Because I know who they are. But
Yeah, Petrov, they're out of St. Louis. They're a big rig truck towing company. They do all the big stuff all around that area and out of state. They have the I think it was the world's first 100-ton what they call a rotator.
Yeah, rotator.
So this thing's a big
It'll
rotator
turn
that'll
and
actually
pick
turn
it.
and
Yeah.
cherry pick. Unfortunately, trucks that go off an embankment, they can hook that thing up and pull that thing back to safety. So he's busy these days, and I think he's got a small fleet up. He must have 25 or 30 rigs. And so he's out of St. Louis. Great guy, Ed, like I say, supports Dirt Track and supports our team. Just you do, Rico. You're on board. Has been a supporter of ours for many years with your Fathead brand and getting these glasses that we like. And you talked about Snap-on earlier. Snap-on not only has a need for, people want to buy glasses, but there's also a safety glass angle. In fact, Snap-on's very big. Even they're coming out this weekend, and they want to see safety glasses on our guys that use in drills and stuff. Because hey, guess what? We only get two eyeballs. So I would say that the sunglass industry is important, but also the safety. You're drilling something or you're using a high-speed impact, man, it doesn't take much for something to come off there and poke you in the eye or do something. So to have the fact that you make the clear glasses that fit, they're not all tight, they're the proper for the bigger head guys, and so it's a good for you, Rico, that you've made something like that to fit all these guys.
You were my first guy.
Yeah.
You know that?
I used to get a little heating, a little match or torch and bend my glasses out so they wouldn't poke my temples. And it's like, come on, man, there's got to be, and yeah, the fact that when you came out, I'm like, holy cow.
But everybody at the time had a different brand.
Yeah.
And you know what? You could be jealous or whatever, but Jim built a hell of a company, and he deserved all the accolades and all the hard work that they put in. But of course, I wanted in.
Yeah.
And they had tuned you up in some form or fashion. I can't remember the whole story, but you were like, hey, I need these, I want these, and I'm done with it. And this is where we're gonna go.
Yeah,
And, I know that you told me before, and of course, you and Proc and many of my other friends, but you were talking about it one time. You said, listen, you've got that thing pegged, and you see it or you feel it going to the center or to the wall, and you've got the wheel cut all the way.
Yeah.
And it ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Because it's carrying the front.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it's called, like in a dirt car, you'd be tight. Tight is when you turn the wheel and it just goes straight.
Yeah.
That's
right.
tight. Loose is when it's the other way. It's rotating.
Yeah.
Well, and so now you have to make a calculated decision, and the finish line's still up there. You're plowing the front end. You're going the wrong way. And nowadays you hit the one of those, they call them, what do they say call them cones? They're actually,
they're blocks.
They're blocks.
Yeah.
You hit one of them blocks or cross it. Now with NHRA's rules now, you touch it, you're out. So yeah, you got to get in there. Sometimes you got to make calculated decisions, and whether to stay on it and beat the guy or just say, man, I think I'm going to lift, because the loss is going to be the same either way. So,
yeah.
And you can't get in the other guy's lane. The guy's going 300 miles an hour. You don't want to, impede his direction, but.
And that's what a lot of people, I think, at home may not get, is like, we're not driving into the wall to drive into the wall. It's taking you there.
Yeah. But I would say this. I remember this guy named the Real Deal, Don O'Neill.
Yeah.
He used to race late models. I think his son races now, Hudson O'Neill.
Hudson. Yeah.
And he said it best one time. He had a little slump going on, and they said, hey, what's going on? What did you find? Because he just won a race. And you know what he said? He goes, you just had to get up on that old wheel. Sometimes you just got to get yourself lift up and just get your elbows up and with a drag car, and it's happened to me, complacency will hurt you too. Sometimes you just sit there and go, oh, okay. But you got to, especially with a funny car, you got to really manhandle, catch it early. If you let it drift, you're too late. If you moves a little bit, man, you got to jump right on it, and you'll limit your chances of going one or the other. So I've been guilty of that myself. It's happened, especially driving for many years as I have been driving. Sometimes you just got to get up on that old wheel, like my man Don O'Neill said. You just got to get up there and just turn that damn wheel.
And now you have the skinny from Cruz Pedregon.